All right, I've been a little busy. Time to do some reveal videos. See how these guys dried. There's some dragons in there. They're creeping in right over. Well, this whole section actually is dragons. So let's see how they turned out. Howdy, howdy, this is Clara Lawrence. Okay, I've been busy with some acrylic pouring and time to do some reveals. All right, so this is a painting I did and I was testing out glitter again, but this time I used halo glitter. And it's a resin type glitter, meaning it's super lightweight so it doesn't sink. And I thought it'd be perfect to try in acrylic pouring. And here, let me give you an idea. I am wiping my finger pretty good on this. And it is not coming up. So it does really well. And you can see the little sparkle there. I don't have any varnish on this or resin. So this is just the acrylic pouring. But you can tell it does really well. And this one I poured it in with a dirty cup. So it got to mingle in and mix with some of these colors. Some of them it just sprinkled out a little bit. Some areas didn't get any, but yeah, so you can do glitter in your acrylic pouring. Just be mindful of the kind of glitter you use, because too heavy, it'll sink. All right, and I got my resin glitters and resin products from Artist Till Death, and that link will be down in the description, and I've got a coupon code, so check that out. Okay, so these next two is where my journey started with the dragons. And I have shown these guys in another video when I was talking about where I was going with this. And I believe this is the first guy I started with. And I had an idea, and I do go into depth about it later on, and I'll point out their paintings so that you can look up that video. But I wanted to have something that was kind of an impressionistic, like you looked at it and it had that dragony kind of feel to it. And if I wanted to go in later and embellish it with like additional line work, I could do that. So that's kind of where I was heading. And I also used the acrylic pouring to help me figure out how to do it in resin. So that's why I started with acrylics. But you can tell this thing dried pretty well. And it's got a lot of nice movement, and that's what I was looking for. And I'm playing here with the amount of paint. So as you can tell, it kind of spread out a little bit. You kind of lose the dragony feel to it, but it still has a nice movement. So I'm happy with that. I occasionally get some effects in here, which I'm definitely okay with that. That kind of has more of a seahorsey kind of look to it. So, but still fun. I mean, I'm experimenting and playing with it, so I'm okay with that. Think of it as a test. All right, and these are the next two, and you can tell I really started messing around with the amount of paint I was putting down. And I had some great restraint on this one, and I had better luck. And I also played around with a palette knife, keeping it flat going through this, and it really gave a nice ribbony look to it. However, the only thing I wasn't real happy with is that I had the same thickness going throughout, and I didn't want that. I want something kind of tapering a little bit, but I am happy with the way the head stylized is developing. Let me zoom in. So this is getting closer to what I'm looking for. Get some real neat effects in there. And even though there's squiggles in here from the pour, it still kind of gives that scaly kind of feel to it. So, real happy with how this one has dried up. Okay, now here's the other one. Now, obviously, I've got way too much paint, but I still wanted to play with it because I'm still trying to figure out this look that I'm going for. And the one thing that this did draw attention to is the way that the head, excuse me, I had to cough there, The way the head kind of turns into the neck area kind of gives a hooded kind of look, like a cobra. And I really like that, and the fact, especially how you get a pop of color in there. Now, I'm not sure how to get the pop of color intentionally when doing the dirty pour, but I do like the flaring of it. So, and clearly I had too much paint, so I'm just playing with how it manipulates, moving it around, even playing with the outside edge and softening the outside edge and such. So yeah, even though this is kind of a fail, there's still some definite wins in there as far as design wise. Like if I were to take, you know, that portion out of it, I really, really like how the head is developing. Now you see what I'm talking about. So that's just me as an artist playing. Okay, now it's gonna get interesting. Okay, so I was on Tish's live and we were just playing around with acrylic pouring, and I decided to put two of them next to each other so that way I had more canvas space to draw my lines and have it not be so compact like in here, because that was having too much paint and it was easy to go overboard when I'm trying to put the entire body in. But when having it extended out, it gave it some breathing room and it allowed me to easily lay in a lot less paint. And it got right to the point that I liked it at. And I could start, let me zoom in here. I could really start manipulating and having the space to play with the edges, soften the edges up, even start to work with manipulating a spine a little bit. So really draw the attention to how it flows. So was really happy and excited with this. And I even played around with just a little bit of gold in the background that I messed in or kind of blended in with the white. And that was kind of an afterthought. I kind of did that after I poured it in. So yeah, definitely getting there. Okay, so this is it. This is what I'm going for. This is what I'm wanting to have my pieces look like. And super excited for that. I'll put the link up there for the video on this, guys, so you can check it out, because I give more of the story of what I was inspired by, what kind of I was going for, a little bit more about my thought process. But as you can see here, I really like the way the hood flared out. The body is a lot thicker in the beginning, and then it tapers out, moves around, has a nice flow to it. I played with the edges, gave it a feathered look. Even with the spine, it definitely has a foreground, background feel to it. Even in here, the head gives a very elegant, zoom in, like hood in here, that kind of that cobra hood that I was talking about. And I have something here that I can manipulate if I want to, or I can leave it on its own. So even the gold in the background, I did that before I poured it, so it looks like the dragon is on top instead of like an afterthought where I'm adding it in. So real excited about this one. Now I gotta mess with resin to get the same effect. Okay, so this is what happens when you have leftover paint. You just gotta play. And I love, it almost has an iridescent type of, I don't know, there's a lot of vibration in the colors, a lot of what I call tension between the yellow and the purple. And yellow and purple are really, really tricky to do together. You gotta make sure you have something in between them that will kind of keep them from blending together and creating that mud look. Now we did get some mud colors, meaning some brown tones in here occasionally, and I'm okay with that, as long as it's like not the overall look is, you know, muddy. But yeah, this turned out really fun. A lot of energy in this. All right, this is my latest video. Let me zoom in, because this turned out bananas. Yeah, I use bananas like Erica does. I couldn't help myself. You see the wispies on the outer edge? Love that. All the detail line. I'm going to try and tilt this occasionally. You can see the little gold specks in here. That's so much fun. There's a lot of detail. Delicate line work in there. Love the zebra. Really pretty blues. And then that smoky look on the outside. That's so stinking cool. Yeah, so I'm happy. Okay, so you guys know what to do. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Definitely hit the bell to get notified next time I put a video up. And keep your eyes out because I'm going to do a bunch of resin pieces next. And I know you guys are itching for resin. And I'm going to try some dragons and resin as well. And I've got some pigments to test out coming up as well. And they're chameleon pigments, so you'll get to see that too. There you go.